All right. When I was 28 years old, I landed my dream video journalism job at CNBC.
You guys have a monopoly. How does living here compare with the US?
Because they assume they have to go to a fancy school to be successful. What the hell, dude? So I throw off the covers every morning, so excited to go to work at 30 Rock in New York City.
We walked 2.5 miles between visits, which took an additional hour of our time.
And then I'd fly through the days and often wake up in the dead of the night, feeling this creeping sense of dread and existential unease. And in those moments, I acknowledged that there was something wrong with the way I was living my life. I imagined time racing by at warp speed until I suddenly woke up at age 80, regretting that I lived to work instead of working to live. I mean, in making it to my dream job in media, I had spent my entire adult life just focused on future goals. I was burned out, chronically anxious, and had completely lost my ability to live in the present. To learn how to prioritize well-being over productivity, I quit my dream job at 32 and explored 18 countries across South America and Asia in 18 months. Instead of routine, every day was a choose-your-own adventure, involving good choices and bad choices, highs and lows, one of which had me crying hysterically on the side of a chaotic road in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And I learned lessons the hard way about how to balance preparation, productivity, and play. These are the regrets that taught me when to prioritize happiness in the moment and when to sacrifice it for a better future, to maximize happiness and abundance in the limited time that we have. When I landed in Rio de Janeiro in December 2022, I did not want to be there. I wished I were still in Buenos Aires, celebrating Argentina's World Cup victory in the streets with my friends. Argentina is serious about soccer. Instead, I sat alone in my Airbnb as it rained cats and dogs, watching via Instagram stories and feeling a pit in my stomach because I had booked my ticket to Brazil weeks in advance for fear of prices going up. I was so obsessed with planning ahead to feel in control that I missed out on once-in-a-lifetime experiences more than once. So as soon as I got to Rio, I booked the cheapest flight to Bogota, Colombia, which meant I left Brazil on my birthday 3 days before Rio's famous New Year's festivities. And again, I sat alone in my hotel watching my friends partying lavishly via Instagram stories as it rained cats and dogs outside. I was so depressed that I kept allowing my life to be dictated by anxiety rather than joy. From that point on, I kept my plans open-ended and allowed whatever new connections and discoveries I made to determine how long I wanted to stay somewhere. So that mentality has definitely carried over to my daily life. Now I start each day with a loose vision for what I'd like to accomplish and the flexibility to pivot based on the unexpected. So I enjoy my work more now. I know when to take breaks, and I no longer feel like a failure if I don't accomplish every single thing on my to-do list. I learned how to live my life guided by joy rather than anxiety. The $34,000 I spent on my sabbatical was a significant portion of my life savings. So now at 34, I have not even close to enough for a down payment on a house in my hometown of Los Angeles, very little saved for retirement, and I'm definitely not ready to have kids. I definitely don't regret my sabbatical, and I don't regret the amount of money I spent on it, but what I do regret is that a lack of preparation in my young adulthood landed me in the position today of having to choose between financial security, and personal fulfillment. By the time I graduated from my dream school, UCLA, I could decode Shakespeare and solve calculus equations, but I had no idea how to find a job or pay my bills. So I spent years in my 20s either unemployed or working low-wage internships and suffered a lot of anxiety and burnout trying to catch up. Had I studied personal finance and started saving, investing, and career planning starting in high school, I believe that I could have taken my sabbatical without significantly delaying other life goals. I began investing in stocks in 2020 with irrational exuberance as the market hit one high after another. But when the market declined in 2022, I lost all of my gains. And I was really scared to lose more. I stopped contributing to my Roth IRA and my brokerage account as soon as I quit my job in August 2022 and missed out on an opportunity to build wealth. I wish I continued investing throughout my travels, putting $200 a month into a large cap index fund. I could have afforded it since I had enough savings left over after my sabbatical, but to ease my fears of running out of money, I could have spent less on nice restaurants, daily lattes, cocktails, and clothing. At the very lowest moment of my trip, I was crying hysterically on the side of a chaotic road in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. So 2 minutes earlier, I'd been walking in a touristy area with my phone in my back pocket, lost in the music I was listening to and feeling carefree and on top of the world. Suddenly, I felt a hand reach into my back pocket and snatch my 2-month-old iPhone 13. And then the culprit fled on a motorbike and chasing it proved totally futile. And it all just happened so fast that I was just left reeling about what just happened. I broke down, feeling helpless, alone, and scared without my phone in a foreign country. And I had also just lost all my photos. And ironically, I remembered that earlier that day, a Cambodian man had actually warned me to be more careful with my phone when I was holding it up next to a busy road trying to take a photo of something. The next day, I spent almost $800 on a new iPhone. I lost my belongings on more than one occasion, including being pickpocketed on a bus in Chile. And it cost me a lot of money, time, and energy I could have spent on other things. I was overly meticulous about my to-do lists, schedules, and flights, but completely careless in other contexts. I learned to be more street smart and to better anticipate the consequences of my actions. Traveling taught me when to let go, but also when to be more in control.